Hi again, everyone. This is my second video today. I just had too much information. COVID took up too much time in my previous video, so I just wanted to address a few other things, not COVID related. First, I wanted to let you know and to invite you to a day program town hall session. It's going to be next Thursday on Zoom. I scheduled it for about 1:15 to start until maybe 2 o'clock, 2:15, depending on what time people have to get going. I understand scheduling it in the middle of the program day is a little difficult with the demands in your groups. It's okay if people we support attend. It's not specific to staff. It's intended to be an opportunity for staff to ask questions that maybe I can answer or to hear from you concerns. But the same for the people we support. If they have questions or concerns too, we want to share that with them. Or if staff can make arrangements for their room or group to be covered because they really have something important to bring to the town hall, either way. And then if it's not enough time or not enough attendance, we can offer it at a time that works for the majority of you. So I'm open. But again, the agenda is going to be somewhat open-ended. It's a Q&A, so you'll have an opportunity to ask any question that you want. I do want to inform you about a couple of advocacy updates around budget information and service delivery protocols and policy stuff, just kind of to set us off in the new year in a way to talk about what we can expect moving forward and kind of share our concerns and questions with one another. Okay, so that's next Thursday on Zoom. As part of this video, you'll see the Zoom meeting invitation, okay? I also want to recognize that this week, some important things are happening. We are getting ready to return. Actually, it was supposed to be Monday, but because of the snow and then an exposure, they didn't come back to Brunswick right away. But we do still have a few staff deployed in residences that we want to recognize. Mitch and Donna and Michaela and Joe was out too for a while. Have been out working in houses as part of our modified deployment to keep some certain residential locations home and maybe more safe from COVID activity. We've missed them at Brunswick. We still have a lot of people from houses that are not there. So I just want to recognize that we're looking forward to the return of those staff this month. We hope everyone will be back where they're supposed to be. Speaking of weather, I also want to recognize that winter in the Northeast, when you work for an agency like ours, is never easy. Okay, so I just want to address a couple of things. We're not like a school district, okay? When school district calls for a snow day, they have the same budget. It's a budget neutral decision. The snow days are built into their budget, right? We're a fee-for-service model. So if we don't open, we don't get paid. And you might think, well, safety first. I totally agree. Safety first, right? We've been saying that all along with weather and COVID or whatever, but it does put this pressure on us to say, okay, what can we or should we do in this situation? I made the decision on Monday, and I'm kind of kicking myself because I decided to open day programs with no transportation because we had sent staff to houses. So it really wouldn't be fair to send certain staff to houses to work and certain staff to let them stay home. So the expectation is we're going to be open. Staff are expected to report. If you can't report for a weather-related reason, okay, you're not going to get in trouble for that, but you would have to use your own time. And that's always been our standard. Many of you who've been around a while know that. But we try to push ourselves in the weather to do as much service delivery as we can because we know that the people we support really want it, and we know that houses have their own struggles getting staff safely to work. So it becomes it's a risky scenario any way you look at it. Either there's not enough staff to cover because there's no day programs and people are home, or you send day program vehicles out and you worry about safe travel. So we're always trying to address those risks. I was kicking myself because the weather, as reported on the news, really didn't turn out as significant as we were being warned it was going to be. It cleared up relatively quickly, but it was very windy and, mixed precipitation in the morning hours. So anyway, yeah, I guess you get some decisions right and you get some wrong. It's hard to know. So anyway, I guess I just wanted to address the weather-related concerns are never easy. If you have ideas about how to make our services better, like we're trying more virtual services, more day have from home models, different flexibilities to try to capture as many services as possible. If you have ideas, let me know. Another important event this week is it's Rebecca Desposito Day on Friday the 21st. I don't know if you heard. So not everybody who's watching this works at Brunswick Center. So if you don't know who Rebecca Desposito is, she is our long-term nurse. She's an LPN who works at Brunswick. She has for more than 20 years. And in many ways, she's the heart of what we do. She has so much love and compassion for staff and the people we support and their families. It's hard to even articulate, how meaningful that has been. She has made a decision to leave Brunswick Center from her full-time role. She'll still be connected to the agency, thankfully. And so we're trying to figure out a way to say goodbye. And there's no easy way to say goodbye to anybody who leaves us, but certainly not her. So it's Rebecca Desposito Day on Friday. And so you can celebrate that any way you like. And we are hoping that people take some initiative to celebrate Rebecca's contributions in all of her favorite ways, whether it's, music or pictures or cards for her or, special gifts or just kind words. She's pretty special, so we'll miss her. We also want to recognize that there has been some new additions to the agency that we want to congratulate. Kaya Stevens, who is a long-term DSP at Brunswick, has been promoted to our new activity leader, and she started this week, so we're grateful for that. We have a new director of quality assurance. Her name is Elizabeth. She started this week, and you will meet her soon. We have a new behavioral health specialist. Her name is Carly, and she will be, you'll probably interact with her when she is, supporting people with their behavior support plans. We have a new investigator. His name is Nate, and many of you know Nate Leach. He's been around for a while. He has just been hired as our full-time investigator, a role he's had before, so welcome back. I think that's it. But congratulations to those people, and we look forward to introducing everyone to one another in a COVID-safe way. Training. It's really important because OPWDD is still auditing us as providers to make sure we're compliant with all our training requirements. So the only significant changes, once again, we've decided to pull back on training the physical interventions for skip research and for new hires. Just with so much COVID activity, it really didn't make sense to have close contact in the physical intervention piece. So we're going to do positive approaches only as a part of that training requirement. It's still mandated by the state, so we can't just not do it. And remember, as an employee, you're responsible for managing your own training compliance. You have to have an awareness of when you're coming due. You have to work with your supervisor to sign up. You never want to miss a training that you're signed up for. So we all need to pay attention to that important need. And I want to talk briefly about budget stuff. And it's difficult to clarify all that's happening around us with budget advocacy. Okay, so I'm going to tell you in the simplest terms as I can what we can expect. Remember, I've explained this before, but if you're new, the money that we receive is in a daily rate for each individual. If a person comes to program and we serve them, we get paid a rate for each person. and you know that you have to serve them at least a certain number of hours a day and a certain number of goals or services, and you have to have both in order to get that daily rate. And so we had heard, this has been a long time coming for many, many months, that OPWDD, the state was going to reduce our rate. And they were going to have a 5% reduction of rates across the board. And we did get news recently that they've decided to delay that rate cut, which is really good news. They've taken it off the table. So that's a big relief, because everybody was wondering how we were going to reduce if those rate cuts came through. They never disappear. Like, your rate gets changed all the time based on, a lot of different factors. But a 5% cut would have been difficult. All right, so that's good news number one. And the rate that comes to us on behalf of individuals it's a federal match. Remember, the state pays about 50% and the federal government pays about 50% for every Medicaid dollar we receive. And remember, our agency is like 98% funded by Medicaid. We do get some grants, we do get some fundraising, but most of the money in day programs is Medicaid funded. And so the federal government's kicking in half of a share, and the state government's kicking in half of a share. And then you might have heard about the Build Back Better legislation. So as part of that federal legislation, there was money included to compensate frontline workers, most notably in healthcare. And you hear some terms in that legislation, like heroes pay. There was money set aside in that legislation to push money into our system, okay? And they called it like the expanded federal match. It's the EFMAP funding. So what the federal government is going to do is kick in a little more of a share so we can pass that money on to our frontline workers, which, our DSPs and related positions have held us together during COVID. So we look forward to the specifics of that money coming into our system. So there's some questions. When is the money going to come? Who's going to get it? How much will they get? I can tell you that is real. Those are not just words, because I've been in so many meetings about the calculations and what's required of us as providers to attest to how much money we might be eligible for as it relates to the expanded FMAP. So that's real. I don't have specifics yet, but I want you to know that we're looking forward to that coming. And everyone who was part of those discussions has been so excited, because the field honestly has never seen anything like this in quite a long time. And it's almost like hard to believe, like, okay, are we going to be able to pass some money on to our direct support workforce? You don't want to believe it until the money is in hand, right? When it comes to stuff like that, but it's pretty exciting. And so we had that going for us, even though we don't have specifics and we can't really tell you specifics yet. We just know that the legislation was passed and we know that our field is mentioned in it. And then the new governor gave her State of the State address on the first week of January. And in it, she specified that the state budget is going to reflect a push in of money to our field to try to stabilize that the hands-on workforce in healthcare that's been suffering with a lack of funding. And so when she gave that State of the State address, again, advocates in our field were like, okay, Governor, sounds good, but that budget's not going to pass, because she was talking about a lot of money. And then, the budget details are being shared this week, and in it is a COLA, like a 5.4% COLA. A COLA is a cost of living adjustment, which is the percentage increase of financial relief that adjusts with increasing costs of living expenses. Our field has not gotten COLA relief in such a long time. And so, again, we had this experience just in the last couple of weeks, like not believing it was going to happen, but it's still there. And so, in my years in the field, I've never felt as close to some type of financial relief as I do right now. And I can't wait for the day to come, which I hope is very soon, where, we can put more money in your pockets and you will feel validated for all the hard work that you do. So I know that that's not probably specific, because I'm not telling you how much, I'm not telling you when, I'm not telling you who's getting it, because honestly, I don't know. The state of New York makes those processes so difficult. But it would be negligent of me not to tell you the exciting news that the advocacy is paying off. So stay tuned. I will update you as soon as I have information. But, we can talk through it at the town hall next week, and you can ask me any questions that you like about that. If I can't answer it, I'll tell you I can't answer it. Not because I'm hiding things from you. It's just because I might not know. So that's it. That was just video number 2, just to update you on a few more things. Take care. Thank you.